You touched tender hearts. You cared the emotional minds. You created newness. You held high the dignity of every life. You rendered your services. Blessed are the feet of those who bring the good news. And of course, you were the ones who brought good news to the young minds entrusted to your care. St. John Bosco says, without confidence and love, there can be no education. With all the qualities, abilities, you were a confidant, an educator, a facilitator, a mentor, a guide to encourage the pupils to hold the dignity of every child. Before we proceed any further, this lovely lady by my side is Miss Livia Sequeira, and with me is the beautiful Razia Fernandez, and we will be your hosts for the day. Respected His Grace Most Reverend Philip Neri Ferrang, Archbishop Patriarch of Goa and Daman, Chief Guest of today's function, Reverend Fathers, Coordinators of AB, Managers and Heads of various AB institutions, felicities, teachers and students. A warm welcome to all you lovely people gathered here to be a witness to this glorious occasion. An initiative taken by the AB to acknowledge the dedicated services of the staff members. An event that will enter down the memory lane. Prayer is the raising of our thoughts while humbling our hearts before God. It is a moment where the Spirit yearns for oneness with the Lord. It's a time to set aside all our earthly wantings and a time to reflect on our own lives. Have we done justice to the innumerable talents and blessings bestowed on us? Let us be still and turn our hearts and minds to God as we partake in the prayer service animated by the students of St. Xavier's High Secondary School, Mapsa.
Of social teaching that goes back centuries and provides a compelling challenge for living responsibly and building a just society. Human life is sacred, and the dignity of the person is the foundation of a moral vision for society. The Bible has a positive view of education. In fact, even Jesus kept learning. Luke chapter 2, verse 52 says, "And Jesus increased in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man."
Bless the Lord, oh my soul. His holy name. Sing like never before. Oh, my soul, I worship your holy name.
Lord and giver of all life, help us value each person created by you in love. In your mercy, guide and assist our efforts to promote the dignity and value of all human life as we lift up our prayers to you.
Head and hands. Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. Thank you, Lord, for bringing us together, where we acknowledge all the work and wonders of many minds and hands which have been tirelessly, selflessly working together in the field of education for over 30 years.
Thank you for teaching us to serve others with love and humility.
Bless our thoughts, that they may be powered by your wisdom. Give us your strength to convert our thoughts into constructive actions and persevere towards spreading your word in all that we do.
Heart. God is love, and the love of God has been poured out in our hearts by the Holy Spirit who is given to us. Creator God, today is your gift to us and your challenge. Open our hearts to the needs of others. Help us use today to make a difference in the lives of everyone we encounter. Take our heart and make it new. Help us to love genuinely and seek you with all our might by loving and reaching out to others.
Word of God. Treat everyone with dignity. Love your spiritual family. Revere God. Jesus, Word of God, model of what is to be human. May the words we speak bring understanding, peace, and reconciliation. Spirit of God, source of freedom and joy, shape our lives and guide us to be compassionate and merciful people. Lord, in everything, may we set an example by doing what is good. Tune my words with enthusiasm to spread your ministry. offer you our head, heart, and hands as we raise our beings in dance, in singing praises to you.
May I now request the Secretary of AB, Sister Jasmine Coutinho, to do the honors of escorting His Grace Most Reverend Archbishop Philip Neri Ferrand onto the stage. With equal delight, I request the Vice President of ABE, Reverend Father Tamatur Cardozo, to kindly escort the chief guest of today's program, Reverend Father Sebastian Mascarenas, SFX Superior General of the Society of Pilar, to the dais. Reverend Father Lucio Dias, the Episcopal Vicar for South for Education, will be escorted by Mrs. Percy Fernandez, the coordinator of today's program and the headmistress of St. Joseph's Educational Institute, Shanghai. I'm also glad to invite Dr. Mrs. Myrtle Caldera, the treasurer of ABE, and Mrs. Antoneta Norona, assistant to the secretary of ABE, to kindly occupy their distinguished chairs on the stage.
In the scriptures of John chapter 8 verse 12 says, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but have the light of life. Light is a metaphor used for God. We all need the divine light to bring and spread the goodness in our communities and in the institutions where we are planted. In the letter to the Ephesians chapter 5 verse 8 to 14 emphasizes that we were once in darkness, but now in the light of the Lord live as children of light. We need to depend on Jesus, the light of the world, to dispel the darkness that surrounds the earth. Let us rise up to experience the presence of divine light as we light the traditional lamp. Requesting our dignitaries to kindly light the traditional lamp. Thank you. Requesting our most valued dignitaries to kindly take their seats on the dais.
The Vice President of the ABE, Reverend Father Tamatar Cardozo, is an eminent personality with distinct vision and mission. A sculptor of human character and a seasoned scholar. An illustrious educationist who leads the path to learning and making it interesting and enjoyable. It's your privilege, Reverend Father, to welcome the gathering.
Good morning to you. His Grace Archbishop Philip Neri Ferrao, the chief guest of the day for the Sebastian Mascarenhas, Superior General of Society of Pilar, SFX. Father Lucio, the Episcopal Vicar. Father Jesus, the Secretary DSC. Father Zeffirino, the President. Sister Jasmine, the executive members of the ABE, managers, heads of the institutions, teachers, parents, students, and all well-wishers. If the salt has lost its saltiness, what is that salt for? If its very purpose is lost, what use of voice? Should voice is not used to talk, rather speak out and voice the truth. They say all is in a state of flux, or the only permanent thing in life is change. And yet, there are some things in life that never change. Better still, should not change. We call them the eternal truths or the principles. The purpose of education is the education with the purpose. And one such purpose is to teach the truth, to live by the truth, and to voice the truth. The pursuit of truth is the sole formation of all education. Dare to think different if you want to make a difference. To be extraordinary, you need to think and do extraordinary. Winners don't do different things. They do things differently. The real truth never comes in comfort zones or comfort places. Jesus came to establish the kingdom of truth and justice. Therefore, he spoke and lived by the truth, only the truth, and nothing else but the truth. Dear friends, I stand here before you to extend a warm welcome to the gathering here. But above all, I welcome you to go and do likewise. Welcome you to educate, to uphold human dignity while building a caring society. Welcome once again.
Thank you, Reverend Father Tamatur, for your wonderful words of welcome.
Like the rainwater, bringing life and prosperity to the land, your words bring enthusiasm and strength in our hearts. A small cheer and a great welcome pours out sweetness of love to all around, thus making every occasion grand. It is my distinct honor and privilege to invite a significant personality, a visionary. He is known by all, loved and respected by all. He molds the lives of all around him through his vast knowledge and wisdom. Requesting His Grace Most Reverend Archbishop Philip Neri Ferrao to address the gathering.
Very Reverend Dr. Sebastião Mascarenhas, Superior General of the Society of the Missionaries of St. Francis Xavier, commonly known as the Society of Pilar, Chief Guest of today's function, office bearers of the Archdiocesan Board of Education, all the dignitaries on the dais, members of the Governing Council of the ABE, fathers, sisters, teachers, awardees, students, parents, ladies, and gentlemen. We are here this morning for yet another annual celebration of the All Goa Catholic Educational Institutions Day. And I am extremely glad to be with you all to celebrate and to reflect together on the great mission that we have all undertaken in forming the minds and the characters of those who will soon replace us in building the human family wherever they are placed. I am particularly happy that we have Reverend Father Sebastião Mascarenhas in our midst. As the Superior General of the well-known Society of Pilar, he has under him scores of sterling educational institutions from primary to university level, not only in Goa, but in places like Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Central India, the Northeast, and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Having visited some of these institutions myself, I can say that the Society of Pilar aims at a high degree of excellence in educational activity and academic learning, something that all teachers are engaged in. A hearty welcome to you, Father Mascarenhas. As people actively engaged in the education of the young, we are on a mission that responds to the aspirations of every nation, that is, to develop a society that is ever respectful of each person's dignity and that is increasingly oriented towards the well-being of others, especially the underprivileged. To develop such a society, we must enable each student to see his or her life as a gift of God and as a call to serve. We must help them to realize that it is right attitudes and principles that give power and dignity to one's life. We must help them to interpret their lives in the light of God's plan for them, and thus to contribute to the development of the society. This mission is reflected beautifully in the theme that was chosen for today's event: educate to uphold human dignity while building a caring society. Respect for human dignity and concern for others are perennial values to be inculcated in the young if they are to grow into well-integrated human beings. The Catholic Church, with its myriads of educational establishments worldwide, is proud to be an important and respected agent in such an educational process. And we in our Archdiocese do not lag behind. Our Catholic educational institutions have earned the esteem and the respect of our society, and even of the people in the governance, as we go ahead, ever growing as effective agents of transformation in our society. The Church's intense and extensive apostolate of education continues the mission of wholesome liberation preached by Jesus. It is in this spirit that our apostolate of education will respond to the needs and aspirations of all our people, especially of the underprivileged, on whom we have been focusing our attention in these last 3 pastoral years. Today is a day when we pat ourselves on the back, fully aware of the tremendous good that our Catholic educational institutions are carrying out in our state, but always conscious of the enormous challenges that lie ahead and that are the result of the rapid social, economic, and cultural changes taking place amidst us. So as we gather for yet another all-Goa Catholic Educational Institutions Day celebration, let us pledge to rededicate ourselves to the great task that we have all embraced, not just as a profession, but much more as a life calling, a calling to help our children and young ones to grow into worthy and truly resourceful human beings. One of the principal motives of our gathering today is to celebrate and recognize the yeoman service that some chosen members of Archdiocesan Board of Education have been rendering to this noble cause of education. This year, we have 141 of them who have completed 30 or more years of dedicated service to this cause. We felicitate them warmly for their great sense of dedication and sacrifice in the service of the education of our children. What they are going to receive today is a very small token of the gratitude that our whole society owes to them. On this day, I formulate an ardent appeal that all of you, awardees of today, may continue to be enthusiastic collaborators of the Archdiocesan Board of Education as it forges ahead to fulfill the mission that it has taken up in this archdiocese. Continue your sacred mission with unflagging zeal. Along with you, I also salute all the others who together with you continue to be sincerely and selflessly engaged in serving the cause of the education of our young, be it as managers, as academic heads, as teachers, or as non-teaching staff in our Catholic educational institutions. May God bless you, one and all.
Thank you, Your Grace, Most Reverend Archbishop. Your words never fail to inspire us. Your words carry wisdom and vision for a brighter and a better future to us all.
The chief guest of today's program, Reverend Father Sebastian Mascarenhas, SFX Superior General of the Society of Pilar, is an outstanding personality. To acquaint us with his work and with his extraordinary endeavors, I call upon the graceful Mrs. Antonetta Narona to do the honors of introducing the chief guest.
A warm and respectful greeting to Your Grace, Reverend Fathers, Sister, dignitaries on the days, and everyone in the audience. Our chief guest did his early education at Saviour of the World High School, Lotoli, and at Father Agnel High School, Pilar. I would like to say to you, whether it is Saviour of the World High School, Lotoli, or Father Agnel High School, Pilar, they are both ABE institutions, and we are proud and happy to have someone who is our own as a chief guest for today's function. I feel honored and privileged to present his very impressive biodata to you. Father Sebastian Mascarenhas was born on the 25th July 1959. He did his first profession on the 20th June 1976 and final profession on 12th December 1983 and was ordained a priest on 6th May 1984 at Pilar. Father was a brilliant student. He secured the 7th rank at the matric level. He earned his BA degree from the Nagpur University, standing second with a gold medal in economics. He obtained a licentiate in missiology at the Philosophical and Theological College of St. Augustine, Germany in 1994. In the year 2000, Father earned a doctorate in systematic theology at Albert Ludwig University, Freiburg, Germany. His appointments began as assistant parish priest in Gujarat and Nagar Haveli, also served as a principal of schools there. He was a chaplain as well as director of social work and social services, Adivasi Society, Nagar Haveli. Closer home, Father has served the Pilar Theological College as professor, moderator, and dean of studies. He was the rector of the Pilar Mission Seminary and editor of the Pilar News Bulletin. Father has served in Vasai at the Father Agnel Seminary there. From April 2013 to August 2017, Father has served as a provincial superior of Mumbai province. Then as mission superior of Daman as well as parish priest of Our Lady of Remedios Church, Daman, and a parochial administrator. From April 2017 to date, Father is the Superior General of the Pilar Society. You have our best wishes, dear Father, and may your society grow and flourish under your vibrant and dynamic leadership. And now, my dear esteemed audience, presenting to you our chief guest, Reverend Dr. Sebastião Mascarenhas, the Superior General of the Pilar Society. Thank you.
As a gesture of love, I call upon the students of St. Lawrence High School, Agasain, all dressed up in an authentic Japanese attire, to present our dignitaries with a token of appreciation, which is a flowery basket and nutritious on the inside. Miss Anna Mo will present the flowery basket to His Grace Most Reverend Archbishop Philip Neri Ferrand. Sebastião Mascarenhas. And Miss Jurisa Staves will do the honors of presenting a flowery basket to Episcopal Vicar of South for Education, Reverend Father Lucio Dias. you, my dear students.
The Archdiocesan Board of Education is the umbrella body under which all the Catholic institutions in Goa function. The mission of the Archdiocese is to transform the lives of the pupil, to build a better future, and to uphold the human dignity, to build a society where peace and unity dwells. The AB oversees the functions of various institutions within the framework of rules. To make you familiar with the happenings of various activities, I kindly request the Secretary of AB, Sister Jasmine Coutinho, to present the annual report of the AB achievements.
Report of activities of 2019-20. The Archdiocesan Board of Education is an umbrella organization that promotes the apostolate of education in the state. There are 130 primary schools, 116 high schools, 1 CBSE school, 2 ICSE schools, 2 special schools, 26 higher secondary schools, and 11 colleges. It is the largest education provider in Goa and caters to over 1,17,000 students and is supported by 5,600 staff members. The Governing Council, under the presidentship of the Archbishop Patriarch, meets every month to review and plan activities and to guide the institutions appropriately as required towards their expansion and development and formation of the students. Members participate in state and national level seminars to keep themselves updated. 2 general body meetings are held every year. Besides the regular procedures required as per Societies Act, the members are provided inputs to motivate and guide towards their own personal growth and the institutions at large. The inputs provided this year were by Father Pushparaj S.J. from Chennai and by Sister Mary Skaraya, a Supreme Court lawyer, Delhi. Another seminar is planned on the 22nd of this month for all the religious heads and managers to equip themselves to respond to challenges of present time. All institutions are divided into 14 zones and 2 meetings are held zone-wise each year for greater interaction and better dissemination of information and decisions taken to be implemented. The major activities undertaken this year include the following. The Education for Family Values. This is a program of the Western region of the CBCI which has modules prepared for family life education for students of standard 8, 9 and 10. Teachers of schools have been trained for presenting the special modules prepared for the purpose. This program is for 3 years and the 5th module has now been prepared. Mulyavardhan program. This is a value-based value education program for students of the primary section in collaboration with the Santilal Mutta Foundation and the SCRT Goa. This is now in its 5th year. The perspective plan for education that was developed 3 years ago is being implemented in our schools with stress on dedicated focus on academic excellence, faith formation and holistic education accompanied by unity for all institutions. All Goa Catholic Educational Institutions Day. This is an annual celebration held alternatively in North and South Goa to recognize, appreciate and applaud the services of personnel in our institutions. Those who complete 30 years of service are felicitated at a grand function in February. A souvenir is usually released on this occasion. Teaching of constitutional values to our students and strengthening their knowledge of the Indian Constitution has been encouraged. A workshop was organized for teachers on constitutional values by Father Roland Coelho, SJ. Another workshop was held for pre-primary teachers by Father Ajoy Fernandez, SDB, to acquaint teachers in learning disabilities in young children and the ways to correct them and give the child a new start. Father Edison Fernandez conducted a workshop for heads of schools to understand our character and how we function. The AV institutions participated in an interreligious dialogue held in Old Goa. A great deal of effort and preparation and planning went into a program that has finally seen the light of the day. The AV Governing Council has begun training our students for entry into civil service with the help of IAS officers, and the first batch of students of 8th, 9th and 10th have been trained this year, and this training will continue in order to prepare our students to answer UPSC exams. 2 new members were co-opted into the Governing Council, namely Father Alan Norona SFX and Sister Elizabeth Coelho FMA. An ongoing dialogue was being continuously held with the Education Department and the government on various issues like appointment of councillors and religious personnel in our institutions continues to suffer a setback due to difficulties experienced by our government. Today's program of felicitation of our esteemed teachers unites the whole ABE, drawing upon talent and resource of many institutions, and we feel proud and grateful to all who collaborate. And I wish to thank everyone who reach out to us, including PTAs and other organizations, our advertisers and well-wishers, and not forgetting the Governing Council. Our special thanks to Mrs. Celine Meneses for contributing to the ABE Souvenir and bringing in a lot of ads for her untiring zeal. Thank you and have an enjoyable day.
Thank you, Sister Jasmine. Indeed, the laborious work done by the ABE is highly commendable. Service to humanity is service to God. Let the love and light of the kingdom radiate through you until all who look upon you shall be illuminated by your reflection. We all have a divine call to mold, sculpture the young minds to help them blossom with good virtues and morals. And you all have been fulfilling this noble call, working passionately for 30 years. And to acknowledge your efforts, we are now going to witness the most awaited moment of today's function. Yes, it's time to felicitate our dear staff members for their selfless and dedicated services. So I kindly request Dr. Blanche Mascarenas, Principal of St. Xavier's College, Mapsa, and Dr. Maria Fonseca, Principal of St. Joseph Vaz College, Corthalum, to begin with the felicitation ceremony.
Your Grace, Most Reverend Archbishop Philip Neri Ferrao, respected Chief Guest, Reverend Father Sebastian Mascarenhas, dignitaries on the days and of the days. It's my pleasure to read the names of all the felicities of South Zone. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate all the felicities who have rendered their valuable service in the field of education. I request all the awardees to come forward as the names have been read. Mrs. Anita Kulkarni, Presentation Convent High School. Mrs. Anita Kulkarni, Presentation Convent High School, Ambaji, Fatorda. Mrs. Maria Luisa Viegas, Presentation Convent High School, Ambaji, Fatorda. Mrs. Effie Fernandez, St. Anthony's High School, Ambalai, Panchwali. Mrs. Santana Gudino, St. Anthony's High School, Ambalai, Panchwali. Mrs. Pobrina Goish Ivas, St. Joseph's High School, Ake, Margao. Mrs. Maria Zuze Rodriguez, St. Joseph High School, Ake, Margao. Mrs. Emilia Rita Afonso, Regina Martyrdom High School, Asolna. Mrs. Vanshila R.N. Desai, Regina Martyrdom High School, Asolna. Mrs. Concelia N. Mascarenhas, Regina Martyrdom High School, Asolna. Mrs. Sunita Desai, Regina Martyrdom High School, Asolna. Mrs. Primsi S.D. Mascarenhas, Regina Martyrdom High School, Asolna. Mrs. Evelyn Fernandez E. da Costa, Immaculate Conception High School, Avde, Paroda. Mrs. Shobha Mohan Pillai, Our Lady of Candelaria High School, Baina. Mrs. Egidia Dias Ibarreto, Our Lady of Candelaria High School, Baina. Mr. Alvin A. Rebello, Our Lady of Candelaria High School, Baina. Mrs. Maria Gloria Alemão, St. Aloysius High School, Banauli. Mr. Antonio Vaz, Holy Cross Institute, Cavelosi. Mr. Teodoro Geronimo Fernandez, Saint Teresa of Jesus High School, Chaudi, Cancona. Mr. Francis P. Caridad Fernandez, Mount Mary's High School, Chichini. Mrs. J.U. D. Shet Desai, Mount Mary's High School, Chichini. Mrs. April DeCosta, Mount Mary's High School, Chichini. Mrs. Maria Augusta Fernandez, Mount Mary's High School, Chichini. Mrs. Sheila M. E. Braganza, Mount Mary's High School, Chichini. Mrs. Maria Zenaida Viegas, Mount Mary's High School, Chichini. Mrs. Maria Vijaya Pace, St. Mary of Angels Convent High School, Chichini. Mrs. Monica Vaz, St. Mary of Angels Convent High School, Chichini. Mrs. Cassie Flavia De Souza, Infant Jesus High School, Kolva. Mrs. Lavina Fernandez, Infant Jesus High School, Kolva. Mrs. Cynthia Charlotte Rebello, Guardian Angel Higher Secondary School, Kuchore. Mr. Santano Fernandez, Guardian Angel High Secondary School, Kuchore. Mrs. Brenda Rita Pereira, Guardian Angel High Secondary School, Kuchore. Mrs. Milan Kumar Juakar, Our Lady of Destero High School, Destero. Mr. Vincent Barnetto, Our Lady of Destero High School, Destero. Mrs. Ratan Batela, Our Lady of Destero High School, Destero. Mr. Jaivan G. Hamanavar, Our Lady of Rosary High School, Fatorda. Mrs. Lorenka Rebello Ivas, Our Lady of Rosary High School, Fatorda. Mr. Pradeep G. Naik, St. Rita's High School, Maina Kuttori. Mrs. Kasiana Rocha, St. Rita's High School, Maina Kuttori. Mrs. Sudha S. Patel, St. Anthony's High School, Majorda. Mrs. Felicia Barreto E. Fernandez, St. Anthony's High School, Majorda. Ms. Melba was Leitão, Father Basilio Andrade Memorial High Secondary School, Majorda. Mrs. Sima Savant, Loyola High School, Margao. Ms. Thelma Braganza, Loyola High School, Margao. Mrs. Sheila Dakunya, Loyola High School, Margao. Mrs. Florin Franco, St. Anthony's High School, Mondegiri. Mr. Caetano M. Fernandez, St. Joseph Convent High School, Nagua, Verna. Mrs. Remetina Fernandez, Our Lady of Saka High School, Nagua, Verna. Mrs. Sandra D'Souza, Our Lady of Succor High School, Nagwa, Vedna. Mrs. Idalin Irene Dorado E. Fernandez, Rosary High School, Naveli. Reverend Dr. Father Simao R. Dines, Rosary College of Commerce and Arts, Naveli. Mr. Robert Fernandez, Rosary College of Commerce and Arts, Naveli. Mrs. Maria Alinda de Silva, Perpetual Succor Convent High School, Naveli. Mr. Jose Bernardo Piedad de Costa, Holy Rosary Convent High School, Nove. Miss Ludina Mabel Fernandez, Holy Rosary Convent High School, Nove. Mrs. Nina D'Souza, Carmel High Secondary School, Nove. Mrs. Maria Sukurina Fernandez, Carmel High Secondary School, Nove. Dr. Sister M. Aradhna, AC, Carmel College of Arts, Science and Commerce for Women, Nove. Dr. Manoj R. Bodkar, Carmel College of Arts, Science and Commerce for Women, Nove. Dr. John Baptista C. Ephraim Disa, Carmel College of Arts, Science and Commerce for Women, Nove. Ms. Akalpita R. Desai, Carmel College of Arts, Science and Commerce for Women, Nove. Mr. Nar Bahadur Gurkha, Carmel College of Arts, Science and Commerce for Women, Nove. Mrs. Flaviana P.S. Goish Caldera, St. Mary's High School, Ponda. Mr. Jitendra Datta Naik, St. Mary's High School, Ponda. Sister Jessie De Mello, Bethany Convent High School, San Jose de Ariel. Mrs. Sylvia Fernandez, Azumta Convent High School, Sarzora. Mrs. Maria Silvia De Silva, Don Bosco Farm High School, Sulcona, Rivona. Mrs. Bharti Barde, Don Bosco Farm High School, Sulcona, Rivona. Mrs. Maria do Carmo Bela da Costa, Our Lady, Mother of Poor High School, Tilamola. Mrs. Maria Fatima Serafina Dines, Our Lady of Mother of Poor High School, Tilamola. Mrs. Maria Dosiu Sara Fernandez, St. Roque's High School, Telakando Valley, Tolakando. Mrs. Maria Teresa Mendes, Our Lady of Lourdes High School, Utorda. Mrs. Rukmi S. Poi Dungoto, St. Mary's High School, Varka. Mrs. Flavia Pereira, St. Andrew's Institute, Vasco. Mrs. Zenita A.E. Coelho, St. Andrew's Institute, Vasco. Mr. Cassiano Damasio de Souza, St. Andrew's Institute, Vasco. Ms. Luella George, St. Teresa's High School, Vasco. Ms. Judita Almeida, St. Teresa's High School, Vasco. Mr. Samuel V. Kumar, St. Teresa's High School, Vasco. Teresa's. Mrs. Mandabai G. Naik, St. Xavier's High School, Vedi. Mrs. Conceição N. G. F. Rebelo, Marina High School, English High School, Verna. Ms. Ranjan M. Dalvi, Father Agnel Multipurpose High School, Verna. Mrs. Shiny Rachel Stephen, Father Agnel Multipurpose High School, Verna. Mrs. Gardenia Barreto E. D'Souza, Father Agnel Multipurpose High School, Verna. Thank you very much. The list of North Goa will be read by Dr. Blanche.
Thank you, Dr. Maria. Mr. Uday R. Naik, Sacred Heart of Jesus High School, Anjuna. Mr. Rodney Pereira, St. Joseph's High School, Arpura. Mr. Jeffrey D'Souza, Holy Cross High School, Bastora. Mr. Casimiro Fernandez, Holy Cross High School, Bastora. Mrs. Gulshan B. Aga, Our Lady of Grace High School, Visholan. Mrs. Sukurina Antau, Our Lady of Grace High School, Visholan. Mrs. Lata Pal, Our Lady of Grace High School, Visholan. Mr. Wenceslaw A. Dias, St. Teresa's High School, Kandolan. Mr. Jose Hendrik Fernandez, Jesus and Mary, Sarvajanik High School, Karambolan. Cardozo, Moindadias High School, Kochwe. Mr. Michael Delgado, Moindadias High School, Kochwe. Mr. Anthony Fernandez, Our Lady of Perpetual Succor High School, Kottaland. Mrs. Maria Filomena de Souza, Our Lady of the Rosary High School, Donnacona. Mrs. June De Costa, Our Lady of the Rosary High School, Donnacona. Mr. Tipana Harijan, Our Lady of the Rosary High School, Donnacona. Mrs. Irene Priscilla Delaney, Our Lady of Rosary High School, Donnacona. Mrs. Marina Coelho, St. Anthony's High School, Dulair. Mrs. Maria Lutz S. Rodriguez E. Gonzalez, Our Lady of Amparo Primary School, Mandir. Mrs. Carolina E. De Souza, St. Mary's Convent High School, Mapsa. Mrs. Selvia Selma Maria Gonçalves E. De Souza, St. Mary's Convent High School, Mapsa. Miss F. Yvette Pace, St. Brito High School, Mapsa. Miss N. De Souza, St. Brito High School, Mopsa. Mr. Manuel Alvarez, St. Brito High School, Mopsa. Miss Catherine Coutinho, St. Brito High School, Mopsa. Mr. Aleto Newton Bras, Vincent Rosario Azevedo, St. Xavier's High Secondary School, Mapsa. Mr. Rajendra Khanekar, St. Xavier's College, Mapsa. Mrs. Anuradha Kakodkar, St. Xavier's College, Mapsa. Mr. Suresh Pasekar, St. Xavier's College, Mapsa. Mr. Francisco Xavier Raposo, Don Bosco High School, Panjim. Miss Dulari Govind Garse, Don Bosco High School, Panjim. Mr. Devidas Anand Garse, Mary Immaculate Girls High School, Panjim. Mr. Tony Constantino Fernandez, Mary Immaculate Girls High School, Panjim. Mr. Leslie Stephen D'Souza, Nirmala Institute of Education, Panjim. Mr. Ernest Paul Mascarenas, St. Joseph High School, Perne. Mrs. Maria C. D'Souza, St. Joseph High School, Penne. Mrs. Alka M. Loleekar, Padagnel High School, Pilar. Mr. Damodar Lotlikar, Padagnel High School, Pilar. Mr. Ratnakar V. Naik, Father Agnel High School, Pilar. Dr. Savio P. Falero, Father Agnel College of Arts and Commerce, Pilar.
What about me? How to follow the lines? This is over, no? Over. This is the last. This is the last.
Dr. Mario Joseph D'Souza, Father Agnel College of Arts and Commerce, Pillar.
I meant to see only 6 Emirates.
Mr. Sunil Jose Thomas, St. John of the Cross High School, Sampela. Mrs. Maria Sylvia Elzira Menezes, St. John of the Cross High School, Sampela.
Understood, okay. Bend. The camera is there.
Mr. Tommy George, St. John of the Cross High School, Sankelan.
Can't say they might enter this side also. Only thing will have to be little. I will be there.
Mr. Daigo S. Pinto, St. Francis Xavier's High School, Seolim. Mr. Devendra KPP Desai, St. Francis Xavier's High School, Seolim. Mrs. Celine Braganza E. D'Souza, St. Francis Xavier High Secondary School, Seolim. I request her daughter to receive the memento and the certificate. Mrs. Margaret J. D'Souza, St. Francis Xavier's High Secondary School, Seolim. Mrs. Suchitra Suptankar, St. Anne's High School, Kivan. Mrs. Rajani Kudaskar, Our Lady of Lourdes High School, Walpoi.
In your place? I'm in the city is open.
Mr. Pramod Naik, Our Lady of Lourdes High School, Walpoi. Mrs. Tanuja Don, Our Lady of Lourdes High School, Walpoi. Mrs. Jacinta Fernandez, Our Lady of Lourdes High School, Walpoi. Mrs. Idiana T. Martins, St. Francis Xavier's High School, Seolim. Thank you.
thank you, Madam Blanche and Madam Maria, for hosting the felicitations. Every year, the AB acknowledges the outstanding contribution of the staff members in the field of education. It showcases memories of events and activities held at our AB schools. It is a platform to voice out opinions about education. As a remembrance and to keep alive the memories of this auspicious occasion, let us be solemn spectators as the souvenir is released at the hands of His Grace, Most Reverend Archbishop Philip Neri Ferrao and the esteemed Chief Guest, Reverend Father Sebastian Mascarenhas. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly put your hands together while the souvenir is being released. Kindly give a round of applause. Thank you to all our dignitaries for doing the honors.
We are extremely thrilled to have with us Reverend Father Sebastian Mascarenhas, SFX Superior General of the Society of Pilar, a noble man with a character of great heights, a prophecy of distinctness, a man who looks forward to reform the education sector with the aid of technology, an idol of knowledge, experience, and integrity, a fountainhead of illuminating ideas. You have made the Society of Pilar proud with all the distinguished work in numerous capacities taken over time. Please put your hands together to our chief guest as I invite him to enlighten us and share his experience.
Most Reverend Archbishop Philip Neri Ferrao, Archbishop and Patriarch of the India. This title is not used very much. Father Tamatur Cardozo, the Vice President of the ABE, Father Lucio, the Episcopal Vicar, Sister Jasmine, the Secretary, all the members of the days. I think Father Zefirino is missing here, an important person. And ladies and gentlemen, I feel extremely humbled to stand before you here today, where representatives of 130 schools are present, teaching over 170,000 students. It's a tremendous force here to transform society, and it is my privilege and honor to address all of you. I thank the ABE, who I think prompted by the Archbishop to call me as the chief guest, because generally I don't go for chief guest anywhere, even in the Pilar Society, but this is something very special, and I accepted this gesture from the ABE, especially because I think the Pilar Society also has a couple of schools, not a couple, quite a number of schools which are part of the ABE. We have a lot of things to say about education, and I won't tell you again, you have so many seminars. But today's stress is on the human. And that is one word that is very, very important perhaps in today's society, being human. As a theologian, and as also having been involved in education, we must know that our raw material, I'm putting it very grossly, our raw material is the human person. who is the human person, what is the philosophy behind the human person, must be very clear to us teachers, especially teachers in Catholic education. Aristotle called the human being a rational animal, and that has been our classic explanation. That is why all education is about intellectual excellence. Okay, I go a little higher there.
All education is about intellectual excellence. Because Aristotle said, well, we are rational humans, beings. You get a later period where psychology comes in and we bring out the emotions. And we try to think of man as an emotional being. And you have sociologists to come and man is a social being. What does Catholic education think of a human person? That we get in the first chapter of the Bible, which I am proclaiming and which all of us proclaim all the time. The Bible calls the human person an image of God. And that is the starting point of all education for us, to make every human person realize that he or she is made in the image and likeness of God. More than ever before in today's society, this perception of a human person made in the image and likeness of God has to take precedence over everything else. And when we call holistic education, it means to develop a person like God made him. Good, caring, sharing, like Jesus showed us what image of God is can be seen in Jesus for us. I like the lovely prayer service you made, and all the time everyone has been quoting from the Bible, because Jesus showed us what an image and likeness of God is, and that is what all of us educationists are trying every person to bring and enable them to be that. I think this focus must not be lost in all the problems, difficulties, minority rights, whatever things we have. Let us not lose our focus of Catholic education to enable everybody to be good like Jesus did. We worked in schools. The Archbishop has spoken of schools of the Pilar Society. Many of our schools have been in areas where there was no education in the past, and this was the Archdiocese of Goa as well. The history of education in Goa goes back to St. Francis Xavier, and even before. We have a famous St. Paul's College in only the ruins now, of course, in Old Goa. We have Rashol Seminary, which was a college. Pilar was a college. From the very beginning, education to enable people to be good and caring and sharing like Jesus has been the goal of every Catholic institution. We may have myriads of things. We have lots of courses for intellectual excellence, for psychological training. All these are part of only one thing: how do we bring a child up? And believe me, every human person is a mystery. So you have the most difficult job. You cannot predict what a child will be. Every child is unique. That is why today, when so many, 141 of you were honored for 30 years of service, this is one of the greatest services that we can do to humanity. No greater service than making them like this. I honor and I admire and I appreciate 141 who are honored today, and many of you who are teaching, because you are handling something that is mysterious, something that is made by God like Him, something that has to be enabled to realize its potential as an image and likeness of God, for which there is no textbook. The textbook is only our example. The textbook is all that we be. All the other textbooks are to teach them intellectually or whatever, but there is no textbook for this. And that textbook is our personalities, our beings, our way of living. That is why a teacher has a tremendous responsibility.
I appreciate and congratulate the 141 and the over 5,600 staff members that the ABE has, which is a tremendous force for changing our society, especially today. I congratulate our Archbishop, who is the President and who is guiding us in this endeavor. All the members of the ABE who are doing tremendous work in these difficult times. And I thank you once again for calling me up here to address you and to give the feelings that I have for the ABE. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Father, for being an ideal example of inspiration and motivation, and in a very special way, for sharing your knowledge and expertise. Saying thank you creates love. We need to be grateful to the people who make us happy. They are the charming gardeners who make our soul blossom. Appreciation can make a day, even change a life. To propose the vote of thanks, I invite the ever-smiling and a wonderful human being, Dr. Mrs. Myrtle Caldera, the Treasurer of ABE.
I quote Ellen Cohen, "Appreciation is the highest form of prayer, for it acknowledges the presence of good wherever you shine the light of your thankful thoughts." Unquote. Our Archbishop, Most Reverend Philip Neri Ferrao, the President of ARCHDIOCESAN Board of Education, our Chief Guest, Reverend Dr. Father Sebastian Mascarenhas, SFX Superior General, Society of Pilar, all the dignitaries on the dais and among the audience, felicities, managers, principals, heads, teachers and students of the various ABE institutions, ladies and gentlemen. I deem it a great privilege to have been asked to extend a word of thanks on this memorable occasion. Let me first of all begin by giving glory to the Almighty for making today's event a resounding success. Your Grace, Most Reverend Philip Neri Ferrao, it's my pleasant duty to thank you on behalf of the Governing Council of ABE for the way you encourage us and bless us, and are present with us with your support and guidance in making the ABE a vibrant body for the cause of quality education. You inspire us by your great wisdom. I thank Reverend Father Lucio Dias, Episcopal Vicar, South, accompanying the Apostolate of Education, for being with us and accompanying the ABE very cheerfully and generously. My heartfelt thanks to our chief guest, Reverend Dr. Father Sebastian Mascarenhas, a passionate educationist who, in spite of his busy schedule, graced today's occasion. Your knowledge, vision, and wisdom in turning the world into a place of hope and peace is of great importance to us all. I also express my gratitude to Reverend Father Tamatur Cardos, our Vice President, for his warm welcome address. Reverend Sister Jasmine Coutinho, Secretary of ABE, thank you for the detailed report of ABE activities, and along with you both, I thank Mrs. Antonetta Norona, Assistant to the Secretary of ABE, and the whole Governing Council of ABE for their commitment and dedication in the service of the Archdiocesan Board of Education. Henry Adam quotes, "A teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops. The work and dedication of every staff member of AB felicitated today is wide-ranging, and it will be long felt in the lives they have touched, and therefore we cannot thank you enough, dear felicities, for being a part of the AB Army that molds our students and sends them forth as productive and well-balanced citizens to contribute to the society. I congratulate you and thank you, dear felicities, for your dedicated services and sacrifices, and wish you all the very best for the future. May God shower His abundant blessings on you and keep you always happy. An event of this dimension cannot happen overnight. Though it lasts for a few hours, the wheels start rolling months ahead. It requires meticulous planning and a bird's eye for detail, and is executed by a well-coordinated team, which is led this year by Mrs. Percy Fernandez, Headmistress of St. Joseph Vaz Educational Institute, Shandor, and supported by Mrs. Siet De Mello, Headmistress of St. Joseph High School, Uskau, and Mr. Russell Coutinho, Headmaster, Santa Cruz High School, Santa Cruz. We are grateful to the team of motivated and enthusiastic principals, heads, teachers, students, volunteers of various schools who have done an excellent job in seamless accomplishment of the tasks assigned to them. During the break, you will be served refreshments. We thank the generosity of the schools that have put those together. And a big thank you to the participants of the schools that will entertain us after the break. A word of thanks to the compares, Mrs. Razia Fernandez from Holy Spirit Institute, Margao, and Mrs. Libia Sequeira, St. Joseph Vaz Educational Institute, Shandor, for adding flavor, extra zing in capturing our attention this long. Every alternate year, when we approach the chairman of Ravindra Bhavan, we appreciate his open collaboration in providing us with everything we need, with the cooperation of their staff, which makes our work easier, making us feel much at home. Thank you very much for that. We thank our advertisers, printers, photographers, memento makers, and everyone who worked behind the scenes to provide for this day. I cannot thank everyone enough for the involvement they have shown and the willingness they have expressed to take on the completion of the various tasks assigned. Finally, I leave you with an inspiring quote by Martin Luther King. An individual has not started living until he rises about or above the confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of humanity. Unquote. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you, madam.
It is indeed delightful to see around 141 staff members being acknowledged for their glorious contribution in the field of education.
Many, many congratulations to all the felicities seated out there. Well, Livia, let me tell you about the salesperson.
Go on, Razia.
The salesman who won the top sales award. And when he was asked, what is the secret behind your success? All that he had to say was this: whenever I go to a buyer, I just start. You want to buy this book, or should I read it for you? And the moment the buyer hears this, he's like, oh no, we don't want you to read the book. It's okay, we will buy it. And there you go. That was his strategy to win the top sales award.
That was an amazing strategy, you see. Well, Razia, I think the audience is is waiting. Let's get the show started.
You're right. We dance for laughter, we dance for fear. We dance for madness, we dance for a cheer. We dance for hope, we dance for screams. We are the dancers, we create dreams. The students of St. Mary of the Angels High School have all aligned themselves to give you a grand welcome. So get set, audience, for a scintillating and a striking performance by them. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Here they go. was a spot-on performance, students. Firework of rapidly moving steps. Kudos to you for that.
We have a great mission to accomplish, to instill in our students a social responsibility of upholding human dignity despite of the various shackles of the society. Let us direct all our energies to carve our students into humane human beings. So up next, we have the students of Rosary College, Navini, singing melodiously in unison this theme song, Educate to Uphold Human Dignity while Building a Caring Society. Your magical voices has left the audience spellbound.
Well, Livia, I guess next we have a dance performance. But before that, let me ask you a question. What dance can you do at the sink?
What else? I can only think of washing utensils.
No, silly. I'll tell you. It's the tap dance.
All right. It's my time to tickle your brains. Tell me, Razia, what do the cars do at the disco?
Cars? And at the disco? Very obvious. Remain
they do the break dance.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next is neither the tap dance nor the break dance, but our very own Koli Fisherfolk Maharashtrian dance, put forth by the students of Holy Cross Institute, Kavilosi. This was all about the event. I hope you all have enjoyed every bit of this mesmerizing occasion. And on that note, we, the hosts for the day, are signing out with a special wish to all the felicities out there. May the good Lord bless and keep you. few, whether near or far.